Welcome to another episode of Water and Ice Outdoors. Thank you so much for joining us today. It has been a miserable 2 weeks here in Minnesota. I don't think we've gotten over 0 degrees in about 2 weeks here. And even for us in Minnesota, that is freaking cold. So it's tough to get out and fish in that weather. And stuff freezes up, rods freeze up, electronics freeze up. Cameras especially freeze up. So today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk about my favorite pieces of ice fishing gear from the 2021 season. Things that I've really enjoyed using, lures that I've had the most success on. We're going to get into that right now, and I'm also going to use some previous footage that I've gotten out on the ice using this gear. So it won't be just one of those boring tackle videos where I'm up here talking all the time. I'll actually have some video evidence to back it up as well. Well, let's get into it.
Look at that Silky Jig in there.
Oh, baby. Oh, that's a gill. Oh, that is a gill. Yeah, buddy. That's what we're talking about.
Alright guys, we're going to start off with the big things first. The more expensive stuff, and then we'll get to tackle later. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is this that I'm wearing right now, my Blackfish Hoodie. This has almost eliminated, until recently when it's super cold, has almost eliminated me wearing my clam bib jacket, basically. This thing is so warm. As you can see, it's fleece lined and it's water resistant. It'll basically keep pretty much most of the rain off of you, unless it's really downpouring. It's a quarter zip, so it comes up to your chin, which is super nice, and got nice big pocket here, and it is just the warmest hoodie you'll ever wear. It has been one of the best purchases I've made in the last year. Keeps me warm. Generally, I'd say 90% of the time I'm on the ice, I'm wearing this with, you know, another long sleeve sweatshirt underneath it, and then my bibs, and that's all I need. I'm not wearing Under Armour. I'm not wearing long johns. This all keeps me plenty warm. Unless there's a big time wind, I'm not wearing my clam jacket. So this Blackfish hoodie, I highly recommend it. It'll keep you warm and a lot more comfortable than wearing your big bulky jacket out on the ice. Second thing we're going to talk about. This is my Humminbird unit. It's not new. It's a Helix 7. This is my second year using it. What is new on it this year is my ice defense system. I played around with this last season, or at the end of last season, and kind of got a feel for it. Never really had it out in very cold weather, and I can definitely say this week I've put this thing to the test. And what it is a tube that clips to your transducer, and I'll show you here. I'll get my transducer arm out here like it's hanging in the hole, and the ice defense clips to your transducer line, and it sits in your ice hole. And what it does is, here's the water line, so you're going to have about 2 or 3 inches above the water and this amount in the water, and it sucks in the warmer water that's below the water surface, sucks it in the bottom, and shoots it out the top here and redistributes it at water surface level. And what that does is it's actually warming that surface level, so it literally melts any ice or slush that's in your hole. So what I do, I pop a hole. If I'm hole hopping or in the shack, it works great either way. I pop a hole. I don't scoop it out. I don't even drill it out to get the slush out. I pop this thing in there, no scoop, pop the ice defense in, and within 5 to 7 minutes, depending on how much slush is in there, all that slush is out of my hole. No scoop, no getting your hand wet and cold, taking it out of there. And the other thing that I love using this for is an iFish Pro or a tip up. We all know iFish Pros are awesome, so much more fun fighting fish on the rod, but they freeze up like crazy. So this, with the iFish Pro or any tip up for that matter, is absolutely incredible. And the nice thing about this is when you buy the Ice Defense Pro Series, it comes with a strap, a Velcro strap, and you can take this control box, is just here with a screw, and it mounts to your gimbal, but you can take this whole thing off of your flasher, and it comes with a Velcro strap that you can strap it to a Vexilar battery or your standard 12-volt battery. Strap it to that, set it on the ice, and drop it in the hole right underneath your tip up, and boom, no ice up at all. It's incredible. It keeps your hole completely clear. And I've actually had guys message me saying, hey, we had our Ice Defense on high all day long, and it turned an 8-inch hole into like an 18-inch hole by the end of the day, because it's actually melting the side walls of the ice hole. I mean, it's incredibly effective. Now, the only negative on this is its cost. It costs around $100, but I'll tell you, I'll be the first one to say, you know, hey, I'm not going to rag on you if you say this is too expensive. But what I will say is, myself, everyone that I know that has one, that has bought one, they are so happy they spent that money, because this thing works. It's amazing how effective this is. It only draws about 3 milliamps per hour on your battery, so you will not notice any change in your battery life. I think the manufacturer told me if you ran just the Ice Defense by itself, your battery, your standard 12-volt battery, would last, or 12-amp battery, sorry, would last 3 days just running the Ice Defense. So you won't notice any change in that. It's an incredible system. Yes, it costs a lot, but I guarantee you, you will be so happy you spent that money on this unit if you do.
Stop ice formation in its tracks, down to 20 degrees below zero with the new Ice Defense Pro Series from Cold Nation Outdoors. Ice Defense draws in warmer water from below to circulate at the top of your hole, creating a powerful thermal flow to melt away ice, slush, and snow. Ice Defense, own the cold.
All right, the next thing I'm going to show you is this little guy right here. That is from my pals at Line Cutters, and if you watch this channel at all, you know I talk about Line Cutters quite a bit. It's the first company I was ever affiliated with. They make some incredible line cutting tools, and this one is their flat mount. It's got 3M backing on the bottom, so you can stick it to darn near anything, tackle boxes, this shuttle for example, and it is the most effective line cutter on the market. Alright guys, so how it works, you take your line, hopefully you can see this, you take your line, you run it through here, and boom, it's done. Clean as can be. I don't know if you can see that, it's probably pretty hard to see. Absolutely clean. The most impressive part about these cutters is it cuts braided line like razor sharp, razor edge cut. It's incredible. I've never seen anything that doesn't fray braided line. These cutters will not do that. And they came out with a zipper pull, which unfortunately I don't have because I just lost it down an ice hole because my lanyard broke. But it actually hooks to your zipper with a split ring, and you can use it as a zipper pull, and it's got this same double bladed design on it, so you can have it on your jacket, you can have it on a backpack, and they are actually on, you may have seen these if you've bought new striker gear recently, but they are on I believe the Climate suit and the Predator suit from Striker Ice. So on those bibs you'll actually probably get one with your new bibs if you purchase one. Great company, Line Cutters. They're awesome people, and they make some awesome stuff. They actually just won an ICAST award last season for their newest cutter that's going to be coming on the market very soon, so keep your eyes open for that. Alright, now we're going to get into the tackle portion. These aren't necessarily new items that I'm going to be talking about for 2021, but these are items that I have not used in the past and that have been really successful for me this season. So the first thing is, I've been on the search for a quality inline reel that I don't get a rat's nest with all the time, I don't have line management issues, and has a solid normal drag. So when the fish pulls, I don't have to palm the reel or palm drag, and this drag will just kick in and I don't have to worry about it. And I have not found that in the past. I've tried the 13 Ghost, I've tried the Free Fall, I've tried, you know, a couple different clam ones, and I finally settled on the Spooler Elite from Clam. And it's a very basic reel, but it's got a drag system, it's got a lot of line capacity, and it's got this line guide, which I think is key for me. I think that's why I had a lot of line management issues with the other ones. I was never a big fan of inline reels. I didn't like that you had to pull them out. The free fall ones work, but only to a certain extent. If you've used them, you probably know that they still have their flaws. This one you do have to pull by hand. I just kind of got over it. But what I really like about this is that line guide and the fact that this drag is almost like a regular fishing reel drag. So I'll pull this off. This is on my tuned up Custom Rods Precision Noodle Rod. So this is my lightest setup, and that's what you're going to be using these inline reels for. Shallow, very finesse setups. So when a fish takes this bait and pulls, you can see if I'm not on that handle, that drag automatically engages when a fish pulls hard enough, and you can set it to wherever you want. So the handle does back reel. It does back reel. I'll show you again. So the handle does move, but at least that drag is automatically set and engages right when that fish pulls. So I've been really happy with this. The other thing that I really like, and which is honestly why I wanted to go with a inline reel, is there's no line twist. You can see how still that sits right there. And it does that with any kind of plastic. If you use the plastic, it makes it even better because it stops that side-to-side motion, but you can see how it just sits there. And when the panfish are super finicky, that's what you need. You're gonna downsize, and you need something that will just sit there like that. And with a spinning reel, you start getting that rotation on lures, and that is so unnatural in the water that it just turns fish off. So this Spooler Elite from Clam, one of the better purchases that I made for this ice season, and finally one of the first inline reels that I can actually use and not get completely frustrated with. Alright, next item. The Big Tooth rig from Clam Pro Tackle. Now this is a pre-made quick strike rig. If you know anything about quick strike rigs, you know they have two hooks on them, two trebles typically, and it's for hooking bigger live bait. I mean, you can downsize it and use it for smaller live bait, but typically most people are using it for bigger walleye, bigger pike, and that's what I use these for. Super great to use. They've got quality hooks. They even have some flash with these spinners and some beads in there as well for a little added visualization. But I've had really good luck with these, and we'll play a clip here showing that. They work really well. It's very high strength fluorocarbon on these, and a very nice barrel swivel on top as well. So I've caught, I think my biggest pike came on these is about 35 inches, and had no problem getting it up. So these are very high quality, and they are very, very effective. And I think the blades on there actually help in certain situations. If you're having a hard time getting your bait noticed, I think sometimes that added flash can really help.
Oh, he's right.
Next lure, the Clam Pinhead Minnow. If you follow me at all, you know all ice season long I have been praising this lure. I have caught some of my biggest panfish of my life on this lure. I just started using it this year. All it is a very slender minnow profile spoon with a treble hook and a little blade that typically matches the color of the spoon. And I think that is key. It adds a little flash, it adds a little more action onto the lure itself, because this lure really, with that slim profile, it doesn't have a ton of action other than falling and just kind of waving in the water. But that little extra flash that blade gives off, I think, is incredibly key. This is the 1/8 ounce. I also like the 1/16. And I caught my PV bluegill this year. It was about 10 1/4 inches in the metro here in Minneapolis, St. Paul, on this exact lure. They are so great for panfish, crappies, suspended crappies. I have a great deal of success with these. And this color is literally the only color that I have used this season. And I haven't needed anything else. And it absolutely gets crushed by big panfish. Let's take a look at that footage of that big bluegill I caught this year. Firing up.
Oh, baby. Oh, that's a gill. Oh, that is a gill. Biggest of the year for me. Dude, this might be a 10. You guys, look at this freaking tank. I'm telling you guys, that's what that pinhead minnow does. Look at that pinhead minnow. And that is just an absolute beauty.
And last but not least, the Clam Silky Jig trailer. This did come out this season. They sold out of these in about December, I believe. Once people started using these and saw how effective they were, they are just incredible. Adds so much to your jig. I'll use the white chartreuse one here so you can see it. All it is strands of silk. Now this is natural silk. That's all it is. Natural silk with a bead on there. And you hook through the bead so you can have it like this. You can hook it like it's wacky rigged. Here, I got a jig here I can show you that. And these are extremely strong hook, or extremely durable beads. So you actually really have to thread it on that hook well, because it takes a lot to get these onto the hook. So there's two ways I like to rig it. Kind of wacky rig like that, or get this back off of here.
Or you can do this, which is super cool. You can take the bead and you can slide it along that silk, and you can trim the short end or the long end, whichever you prefer. You can leave it short like this and stick it on the jig, or you can leave it long and have it on the jig like that and use it like a, you know, use it like a almost like a hair jig. I'll get it rigged up here and show you. This isn't the best hook job, but you can kind of see what I mean. You can use it almost like a hair jig, where you got it in the water and it's floating, and you can kick that hair out the back of your jig. And the great part about this is once these get in the water, they start to soak up the water, and they start getting more and more natural movements. And that's the thing with using natural silk like this, is when it soaks in that water, because it's a natural element in nature, it's gonna have extremely natural movement. So I'm gonna show a clip that I took earlier this year of this in the water, and you're gonna see how natural and how flowing these tentacles and these silk strands are in the water. You don't even have to move your jig, and just the water will move these ever so slightly. So with finicky fish, these are huge. Guys, I'm gonna show you this silky. Hopefully, I know it's kind of dark, but you can see how natural that action is. I'll turn my ice defense off so you can actually see it. You see how unreal that action is? It just floats, and it is just so natural. Look at that. It's unreal. I'm hoping you guys can see that, but it's just such a natural action in the water. Now, unfortunately, those are sold out darn near nationwide right now. I've been looking for them ever since January when Clam sold out of them. I can't find them in any stores around the Minnesota area, so I'm sure they're hiding somewhere in a small town tackle shop maybe, but I can't find them anywhere here, so you're gonna have to wait till next year to order them. But get on them fast, because they're gonna go really quick. Black has been my favorite color so far, but that chartreuse white is also a staple. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully it gave you a few different ideas on some tackle or some gear that you may want to pick up for the rest of this season or next ice season. I highly recommend everything that we talked about today. I've been using it to great success, and the Omeals has really made life easier on the ice, as well as like the ice defense and everything else I talked about. So very good products, very good companies, all these things we talked about today. As always, we'll be out on the ice very shortly. The weather's warming up here a little bit. My schedule is kind of winding down a little bit, so I'm going to be on the ice a little more. We've got some more ice fishing videos coming. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching Water and Ice Outdoors.